Oh my. Check. 1, 2. Are we live? Oh, absolutely. Welcome back. Do we have an amazing one? Absolutely. Like always. So, you're not just watching news. You're learning how power moves. We got judges. We got Iran. What else do we have? The IRS, Kennedy Center, Island Man files. Maybe a little Pam Bondi involved. So yeah, this is the political blender, and somehow we're the only adults near the plug, that power outlet, you know. So hit like, subscribe, become a member, and if you drop a super chat, I will treat your question like it just walked into the Supreme Court wearing tap shoes. Bam! Just like that. And make sure you enjoy, because we're going live every single day of 2026. All right, what's going on? We got Trump's big decision. Ducey reveals latest on final decision and deal with Iran. All right, let's hear it.
To see whether President Trump will agree to or reject the latest peace plan with Iran. The deal would extend the ceasefire by 60 days as new talks are held on the Islamic Republic's nuclear program. The devil, as always, is in the details. Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey starts us off tonight with the very latest, live from the North Lawn. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Brett. The countdown is on. President Trump is here at the White House, where he says he will soon make a final determination about this proposed deal with Iran after a 2-hour-long meeting in the Situation Room with his national security team.
There's a couple of points in the post that really give us cause for optimism.
The points in the post: the Hormuz Strait must be immediately open. No tolls. Ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which will now be lifted, may start the process of heading home. Enriched materials, sometimes referred to as nuclear dust, will be unearthed by the United States in close coordination and conjunction with the Islamic Republic of Iran, plus the International Atomic Energy Agency, and destroyed. No money will be exchanged until further notice. That's key because, according to the New York Times, earlier in the negotiations, Tehran had demanded reparations for bombardment damage that some Iranian officials estimate at $300 billion to $1 trillion. Two diplomats briefed on the latest.
What in the world? Reparations for bombardment damage that some Iranian officials estimate at $300 billion to $1 trillion? Just asking for money. My goodness, are they going to get a chat or not? Wild.
This draft called it an international investment fund, which the United States would help facilitate in the event of a final deal. And if diplomacy fails...
When I talk to your commanders, when I talk to all you this morning, I know you're ready. And that gives me confidence. That gives the president confidence. And it should give the American people confidence.
Military experts hope the U.S. will negotiate a way to verify Iran's claims about its nuclear program, even though Iran has historically skirted.
There we go. Steak Can Cheese says they ain't getting a dime. There you go. There you go. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. Let's learn something. Yo, Hugh, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Safeguards put in place by international bodies.
I think we need to make sure we don't let our guard down. We keep watching for them because you can't trust them.
For now, Iran's parliament speaker claims no action will be taken before the other side acts. But U.S. officials claim there is a real substance beneath Iran's bluster.
I think one of the things that has gone unappreciated and unnoticed here is this is the first time the Iranians have been willing to discuss the nuclear subject.
But now tonight, in some wires that are crossing, the Iranians claim they are only focused on ending the war, not negotiating over
User TT, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Their nuclear program. That's coming from a spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry. We don't know if that means they will never negotiate over the nuclear program or if they're just going to wait until the war is officially over. Brett.
Here we go again. We'll follow that. Peter, also today there were a pair of rulings by federal judges against the president today. What happened?
Yes, first, this morning, a federal judge ruled that the administration cannot move any money for the time being into the $1.8 billion weaponization fund, which is meant to pay out people who think they have been victimized by the federal government. Then, this afternoon, a separate federal judge ruled that President Trump's name has to come off the Trump Kennedy Center, and the administration cannot move forward with planned renovations that would close the center for 2 years. And that is too much for the president. In a very long post, he concludes with this: I have instructed the Department of Commerce to make all necessary arrangements with Congress to allow a full and complete transfer of this institution, giving them the responsibility for its operation, maintenance, and management. And so his argument in this long post is basically, if they're going to take my name off it and they're not going to let me fix it, it's not worth my time. Right.
That's big news for Washington on a Friday afternoon. Peter, thanks.
They're just going after POTUS. What's going on? What did he do to all these people? This is so wild. My goodness. Agree, disagree. They're definitely digging in. They're digging in. They're searching for something, right? Pompeo. What's Pompeo up to? Pompeo issues grim warning on Iran nuclear future. All right. W's in the chat for a woman who actually looks like a woman. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
No, not yet. Maybe soon.
Please support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
Yeah, there you go. Listen to her. Go on and do your workout, girl. Enjoy your life. All right, what's going on?
Joining me now, Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, CIA Director, now a Fox News contributor. Thank you very much. It's always good to have you here, sir. What's your take? Because we don't know now what President Trump decided in the Situation Room, whether or not he decided there's not going to be a deal and we go back to an active war situation here, or whether or not he sees some compromise that's enough to deal with.
Martha, great to be with you. Look, we of course don't know how President Trump will handle this, other than to say President Trump has already accomplished a great deal, right? Reducing their capacity to enrich uranium, taking out significant pieces of their ballistic missile program, and...
How you doing, Edward? How you doing, buddy? Hugh saying all of the above. He is a traitor. There you go. Agree or disagree, chat? What do you think?
Harming the Iranian economy deeply and putting pressure on the regime. So those are all those are unrecoverable for the Iranians in the short term. The risk is that if we start providing resources to the Iranians, we know this, Martha, there's a lot of history. No matter what they put on a piece of paper, no matter what the MOU or the second agreement said.
There we go. Hugh's not a fan of Pompeo. I'm right.
The moment they get a chance, they're going to go back and rebuild those programs. This regime is incorrigible as a thief.
What do you think, Chet? Can we trust Iran? Or is it not possible? Not possible. We give them a few bucks and they turn it around and use it against us. What's the wisest thing to do here? We got user TT saying Ozempic Pompeyo. Is he on Ozempic? This man lost some weight, huh? Donnell Hall says,
Theocratic organization, and make no mistake, their intention is to try and play this along to get the money.
And we got NSBR Love saying, what I think politics is all fake. I think a lot of people would agree with you, buddy.
To get the release, to get the blockade released so they can sell their oil and restore what it is President Trump has rightfully taken out.
You know, despite the fact that we made so much military progress, which you just outlined, and did irreparable damage, or at least for the near term, irreparable damage to their nuclear program, they seem to be approaching this in a way that has some level of confidence. Do you think that there is, and do you think China's involved here? Do you think China is giving them any confidence that they're going to help them get their oil out another way? There's some suggestion that they're doing that to some extent. Where do you think, or is that just a big facade and they're about to buckle?
Martha, hard to know. I don't know precisely what's going on inside the regime other than this. It is clear that the regime is fractured. There are multiple voices there, but all of them believe that the United States and
got Donnell Hell jumping up in the chat saying cannot trust the regime and definitely cannot trust a Democrat. Agree or disagree, Chad? What do you think?
Israel should be wiped from the face of the earth. There's unity on that. A second, the Chinese Communist Party is undoubtedly telling the Iranians we will continue to provide assistance.
NSBR Love, happy to have you on board, buddy. And hopefully your Christian rap is amazing.
Electronics for your programs to rebuild your air defense systems. The Russians, I'm certain, are helping them as well. There is a global aspect to this where it's the geopolitical result of this. If the United States is not perceived as having won this, if we haven't achieved a victory in decimating the Iranian regime, then the Iranians will feel like just surviving and hanging on was victory, and the Chinese Communist Party and the Russians will be emboldened as well. I think you make a very good point there, Martha.
All right, Secretary Pompeo, thank you. Always good to have you here, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, that's a little interesting. If we just give Iran money and they're like, they turn around and hurt us with it, that's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. User TT says, don't forget Pompeo wanted Julian Assange gone. What? How dare he? How dare he? We got Aaron Wilson jumping in the chat saying Trump flipped per Island Man files. All right. Claire jumping in, saying the IRGC and Iranian people are not the same, just like UK government is not for the British people. We support Trump and understand his assessment. There you go. Got some love for Trump from the UK. Well done, Claire. All right. We got Hannity saying there is no confusion about who the Democrats are. Talking about Democrats over here. All right. And just by the way, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat, and join one of the best, if not the best, community on YouTube right here every single day.
And tonight, terrible news for Democrats who are limping into the midterms. President Trump is now poised for a major geopolitical win.
Thank you, BPD. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Donnell Hall says Europe loves Trump. There you go. POTUS.
In Iran, news of a significant deal is already driving down dramatically the price of oil while sending the stock market to one record.
There you go. Rackster just said something happening. Gas went down 10 cents overnight. And here we go. Hannity talking about that.
High after another. We get reaction tonight. The great one, Mark Levin, will join us. But we do begin this Friday night with the ongoing identity crisis that is the
Terry, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? How are the Philippines treating you?
Democratic Party. It's never been this nuts. Unlike most identity crises, well, there is no confusion about who Democrats are and what they believe. This is now a full-blown socialist, Marxist, statist party. Democrats have become so radical, so extreme and hateful that candidates are now forced to just flat out lie, contort their very publicly stated beliefs. Their biggest problem is their own statements are on video. For example, here's the latest example from Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico, who apparently wants us to refer to women as neighbors with a uterus. Not making it up. Take a look.
This summer, more than half our population became second-class citizens. Every one of our neighbors with a uterus became the property of the state.
In these situations, when there is an unwanted pregnancy, it is moral for a woman to be able to control.
Is this a good time for the members of the chat to drop in a septum piercing? No idea, maybe.
Her own body, or any one of our neighbors with a uterus to be able to control their own body.
Neighbors with a uterus. Can you imagine if I said to all the women in this audience, in other words, all of you out there with a uterus, it's nuts. But at the base of this new radicalized party, the term women and woman is not politically correct, apparently. Here's another insane statement from Tallarico that will haunt his election. Not only does he want our southern border to have a big welcome mat, but in the state of Texas, he, quote, opposes voter ID. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? No voter ID, no proof of citizenship, big welcome mat. And he wanted to run a vegan.
Donna Hall says Tallarico believes in 6 sexes.
Campaign said that too. Not for drilling either. I don't know. Seems like he's out of touch with maybe Texas values. Time will tell for sure. And I really want him to explain what the sixth gender...
User TT says, my gaydar is pinging.
...thing is. Now, James is now welcoming an endorsement from fellow Texan, Beto Bozo O'Rourke. Take a look.
Jen, he's the best I've seen over the course of my life running and being involved in politics in Texas. And so we all just have to get behind him. James Tallarico will be the 51st vote in the U.S. Senate.
No, I tend to doubt it, but we'll see. That's what elections are for. Keep in mind, Beto Bozo lost every statewide race because his views were too radical. And I think Tallarico's more radical. And this brings us now to a recent op-ed, Wall Street Journal, that says, quote, Democratic men are having an identity crisis. On one hand, you have wimpy, woke, left-wing activists running in a state like Texas, while in Maine, Democrats are running a communist with a Nazi tattoo. His name?
Goodness gracious. Just do some squats. Come on.
Graham Plattner. Now, the author of that op-ed, Teddy Daniels, is a soldier that Plattner mocked. Plattner called a Purple Heart recipient a
hero, right? Purple Heart recipient, right? Absolutely. So we got BPD Bob jumping in the chat saying, I got no issues with adults living how they want, but I will never understand the outright denial of biological reality. 100% W's in the chat for BPD Bob. Well said, man. We're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
A dumb mother bleeper. He said he didn't deserve to live. Daniels rightly responded with a perfectly worded observation about Plattner, quote, a real man by the lights of the Democratic Party. He represents himself as relatable to working class Americans, but in reality, he is a typical elitist who believes blue collar, hardworking, salt of the earth, rural Americans are stupid and racist. Something else that he said. And by the way, why do you ever treat heroes like that? Now, the same could be said about every so-called man in the Democratic Party. Now, they may dress up in different outfits, they don't have a uterus, or speak in different accents, but at their core, the left is...
Got 2 earrings on his left ear and nothing on his right. All right.
All woke, arrogant elitists. And now socialism, statism, communism is vogue, and none of the Democratic, quote, leadership in name only dare takes them on because they now dominate the party. And sadly,
what do you think, chat? Bootlickers? Should we make a bootlicker emoji?
Rise of anti-Semitism. Just listen to this moment from the Michigan Democratic Senate debate. Take a listen.
Is there an anti-Semitism problem in the Democratic Party? Ms. McMorrow.
There is. At the Democratic Convention, an attendee yelled an anti-Semitic slur at my husband, who is Jewish, who was walking with my 5-year-old daughter.
The answer?
How dare that person? Shouldn't do that while a man is walking with their daughter. Spread some love, people. What you doing with your life?
Yes. Now, that was Michigan Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow. Standing next to her is the guy that she's running against, Abdul El Sayed, a socialist with a seedy history of anti-Semitic ties. El Sayed even, quote, struggles with whether or not the world's only Jewish state should be allowed to exist. And this is the guy that campaigned with Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11 in New York City, more thinly veiled anti-Semitism.
To say America deserved 9/11, shallow. How shallow can you be, right?
From Zoran Marxist, Kami Mamdani, refusing to attend the
Kami Mamdani.
Israel Day Parade, the first New York City mayor not to attend in decades. We'll have more on that in a moment, but remember the radical from Columbia he invited into Gracie Mansion where he lives. But tonight, it's clear. Above all the rhetoric, all the slogans, all the excuses, at its core, the Democratic Party primarily pushes 2 very disturbing views: radical socialism, the New Green Deal, statism, and anti-Semitism. And that is the current identity of the Democratic.
BBD Bob says, have you seen Mamdani's music video? He used to be a rapper. No, I did not. Oh my goodness.
Radicalized party.
Is it good? Would you recommend?
All right.
Yeah, Hanity, buddy. There you go. And speaking of, we didn't know that this was happening, but we got a wild one for you. Definitely a wild one. Let's see, how are we going to work this out? We're going to do a little rearrangement over here for you. Curious about like the bots and where they're coming from. We got none other than Mr. Wonderful letting us know what's happening over here. This is wild. This is a wild one. You're going to be surprised.
Mission that has emerged from this that I did not see coming. And maybe we want to segue into what happened the evening of May 4th at 8:30, because I have 12 million plus followers on various social media platforms. I got a call from one of our IT guys, and he said, there's something wrong here. There's a massive influx in DMs going on two specific platforms, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Not a small increase, tens of thousands of % increase. I said, well, is it a mistake? Is there a technical glitch on these platforms? He said, unlikely. They're two different complete platforms. So he had a first look and he said, wow, there's a lot of similar IP addresses here. And so we did an initial scan and we realized, wait a second, there is bots operating here. There are nefarious accounts out of the country dumping stuff that's completely false about Utah. So we didn't wait. The next morning we hired and started working with a very advanced data science team. And what we learned was, to me, shocking, just stunning. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I still can't, because I'm getting the data by the 4-hour cycle now. The content itself was coming from two batches, like the actual pixels, the images were from the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Dispatch.
Socialists? No, they always play fair, right? They want to be sending bots to try to sway the American mentality? Nah, no way. Or yes way.
I'd never heard of them before. You do a search on them, you'll find them under investigation by multiple branches of Congress.
So who wants to say which country is involved in this? Anyone? Anyone in the chat? Just take a wild guess. Which country? Socialism. Take a wild guess.
Congress. Most of the within the IP addresses in Utah were coming from two IP addresses, Alliance for a Better Utah and one called Elevate. So we found out that Alliance for a Better Utah was actually a tax filer. And we went to the IRS Form 990s, which are public. And we started to drill down into what the filings were. And
all right, we got one Russian planet working on the suckers in America. All right, we got somebody from Russia. We got Roger Thacker saying he's probably got his Hawaiian shorts and flip-flops on like usual. All right.
Lo and behold, multiple filings through multiple entities all over the world, all going back to something called Arabella. Neville Singham under investigation. Multiple branches of the government. Shares offices with the CPP. So then I said, I want more. Can you tell me the exact amounts? And we got those the next day. We're talking about millions, hundreds of millions of dollars here. It's not just Utah. These guys are
$278 million. Man.
These guys are doing campaigns everywhere there's a proposed increase in power and or a data center. More digging, more. Salt Lake Party for Socialism and Liberation. Salt Lake Democratic Socialists of America. than this one today. The Cuban Institute for Friendship with the People.
Cuban, getting closer. Any more chats before he says it? He's going to say it pretty soon.
What the hell are they doing marching around Box Elder County? I mean, what is this? And so I called my contacts at the White House. I raised a flag.
They were haploid jumping on the chat saying O'Leary is a foreign entity. F this POS. Is that right? I did not know that. Do you guys agree or disagree? Is O'Leary a foreign entity? I'd like to hear about it. Thank you for your chat, buddy. We're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
And I said, what the hell's going on here? They put me in touch with various law enforcement agents. We had a meeting last week with my entire data set team and multiple law enforcement agencies. And we started sharing data. I gave them 90 pages of IP addresses, all over the place, all around the world, hitting these locations. Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm not okay with this. And I found it in Alberta, Canada, too. So it's, there's a war going on, I guess a PR war, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, is what you're suggesting that these entities are sort of taking funds from the Chinese Communist Party and using those funds to sort of run a digital sort of blackmail campaign against
CCP
your projects?
I'm not suggesting it. It's an irrefutable fact.
Dang.
This is IRS 990 filings with the exact dollars and dates from exactly where it came from. No, not infuting. I'm saying that is exactly what's happening.
Unreal. Who would have thought? How much is that? 278 million? Goodness gracious, man. That's wild. So now, yeah, if you're ever wondering why all this socialist propaganda is being pushed, that may be one of the reasons. But also, who knows? Is he telling the truth, or is he doing it for such a reason? You just never know, right? All right, wattersz, the muzzles are off.
The Democrat Party had one job: pick a winner. Instead, they picked the guy who fell asleep in his soup. And Jill's still holding the spoon.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly?
No.
I mean, people were saying he
Easy questions or difficult questions?
wasn't the same Joe Biden.
Well, I don't think that's true. He was the essence of the same Joe Biden, but yeah, he was slowing down. He was getting older.
Democrats are finally like, yeah, we know.
It's like, you know what? What we said about that debate was what every American with eyes and ears could see. Everyone thought that. The only people who wouldn't get it through their thick skulls were in the Biden campaign and at the DNC and the Democratic Party. It's worse than a lie. It's treating people like they're idiots.
In Biden world, Jill could do no wrong. Kamala.
Hugh saying, remember, she's a doctor. She's a doctor? A doctor of what? My goodness.
Could do no right, and everybody's racist.
Waffle Jackson jumping in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Saying shout out Nate Friedman. He's been calling out Singham for a year now. There you go.
Quote, the future First Lady defended her husband on a call with supporters, saying in reference to Harris, with what he cares about, what he fights for, what he's committed to.
BPD Bob saying parading Biden around was elder abuse. Poor guy couldn't follow sentence or stand for 5 minutes. Agree or disagree? Yeah, that's a sad one. That's definitely a sad one. Yo, dude, what's up with your frame? Fix your frame. My bad, y'all.
You get up there and call him a racist without basis? Go F yourself. Democrats kept quiet for 4 years, and now the muzzles are off. Quote, I think Jill Biden must have had a stroke herself to think that her husband was up to the job. The fake doctor may want to consider self-medication if it took this long to gain some self-realization. They say Would a sorry kill you?
The only thing I want to hear from Joe Biden is, I'm sorry.
Trump's like, yeah, Biden's a vegetable. But did you see how good I looked? Quote, the only thing Jill failed to...
Arm Age Don. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Happy to have you here. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. Oh, Jill Biden. What an angel she is, right? To just be so helpful to ex-president Mr. Joe Biden.
The mention was how well I was doing. In other words, did
He is a vegetable. Oh, Robert.
my strong debate performance cause him to plain and simple choke? Nobody else knows the answer to that, but I do. And then there's Chris Coons, still out there swearing everything's fine, totally fine. He actually saw him today, and he's the best Biden ever.
If you run for president in 2028, I want to hear you talk about it. If you were someone else who were spinning on TV, I want to hear you talk about it. You lied. And people don't trust the Democratic Party. And it's not going to bite us in the ass in the midterms, but it will bite us in the ass in 2028. I promise you.
This isn't going...
We're just going to guess. He's probably a liberal, right? Probably a liberal.
away anytime soon. Biden broke the party, lost the country. The trust is gone. So what's the comeback plan?
They never change it. I hate to bring it up. I like to bring it up just before the elections because they won't change men playing in women's sports. They won't, this transgender, this guy running in Texas, he says there are 6 genders. He wears a mask all the time. He's a disaster candidate, I'll tell you. I think Ken Paxton's going to absolutely just destroy him.
47's right.
We got to go back. We got a man, Mr. POTUS, over here. Chatting to
this guy running in Texas, he says there are 6 genders.
W's in the chat for a woman who actually looks like a woman on television. Yeah. Nice outfit, girl. Nice outfit.
He wears a mask all the time. He's a disaster candidate, I'll tell you. I think Ken Paxton's going to absolutely just destroy him.
47's right. Democrats never learn. That's why they're running Beto's understudy in Texas. Former theater kid, current state rep, got 0 shot. But he'll give you one hell of a curtain call.
This summer, more than half our population...
True. That's right. Sobriety in Christ says she's pretty. There you go.
...became second-class citizens. Every one of our neighbors with a uterus became the property of the state.
Neighbors...
That sounds inaccurate. I think that's just one of those slippery slope arguments and just taken way too far and absolutely inaccurate. How is this man accurate?
With a uterus. Something only a true ladies' man would say.
I got
His
you.
girlfriend's became the property of the state.
The property of the state. Honestly.
Give you one hell of a curtain call.
This summer, more than half our population became second-class citizens.
Second-class citizens.
Every one of our neighbors with a uterus became the property of the state.
Became the property of a state. If you're a female, you're automatically the property of the state. Okay. You think this guy is going to go far in Texas?
Neighbors with a uterus. Something only a true ladies' man would say. His girlfriend's a lucky guy.
She is my rock. She is my best friend. I don't know if I could have gotten through the last 6 months of this crazy race if
Donnell, I can't say that, but that's hilarious, bro.
She hadn't been by my side.
She hasn't been by your side. Literally, no one's seen her. Ever.
No, ever.
Until now. The Post turned up a name, Brianna Maynard. She's into yoga. She's a vegan and a cat mom.
Yeah.
And she likes to dance the night away at her local gay bar. She sounds great. Why not show her off?
Well, I don't think she wants any part of this running for Senate. I think she's very proud of me and very supportive. Obviously, they did not, and so I'm trying to balance
Oh my God.
running this race while also protecting them and protecting her in particular.
Telefrico's got a type. Unverifiable.
I just said I oppose voter ID. Currently, it's a law in Texas, but I oppose that law because I think you don't need it.
Oppose voter ID? You don't think the most sacred obligation of our republic, you should have to prove who you are in order to vote?
So there are a lot of Texans, actually hundreds of thousands, who don't have a driver's license.
He goes from voter ID to driver's license? Dude, sidestepping. Come on, man. Come on.
Democrats will take a vote from anyone they can get. Illegal, Texan, who cares? I mean, I don't know why they chose this guy in the first place. But let's go over to another race. We got LA.
Is the double CP paying him? What do you think? What do you think?
LA cooking. Spencer Pratt is absolutely crushing it. And he's got a real shot at winning. Right now, he is currently tied with
Mr. M. Rossum. Says, I think she's using him for the money. Possible. Very possible. And she likes to go to those places, you know, those G bars, yoga, vegan, cat mom. Yeah, could be.
LA Mayor Karen Bass. Be sure to like and subscribe.
There you go. Like and subscribe, y'all. You got it. You got it. There you go. There's definitely something going on. What is a cat mom? Good question. Good question. A cat mom is a cat who births kittens. That's what an actual cat mom is.
Fox News alert, the president just spent 2 hours inside the Situation Room with his top generals and national security team.
There's POTUS for y'all. And wattersz saying we have Iran by the bitcoins. Are they changing the oil dollar? What are they doing?
Where he was supposed to have made a final determination on the Iran war. Before going inside of the room, POTUS said this: Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and the nuclear dust will be unearthed by us. 47 adding the United States is the only country, along with China, with the mechanical capability of doing so.
Yep. Mayim Rossum. That's right. Most likely, bro. Most likely. We got Snuffleo saying, all hail King Trump. Not worried about a thing, just throwing it out there. There you go.
The terms of the first phase of the deal are that the strait must be immediately open. No tolls, nothing. Iran will have to...
I didn't see Donnell Hall's chat. There you go. Donnell Hall says, I am sending 1 million mail-in ballots to Europe for Brits to mail in. There you go. It'll make a difference. There you go. Voter ID might, might make a difference there, right?
To immediately remove and detonate all mines left in the Gulf. And in exchange, the president says our naval blockade will slowly be lifted. Ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which will now be lifted, may start the process of heading home. Say hello to your wives, husbands, parents, and families from me, your favorite president. That's only if Iran holds up their end of the bargain. The Iranians are begging for unfrozen cash, but the president says no money will be exchanged until further notice. According to sources, the deal is close, but the president's still debating over what to do with the funds. We have them by the bitcoins.
I believe that we have seized about $1 billion of their crypto. And
just outright seized it.
How is that even possible? That's a little interesting, right? Like, how would they be able to do that?
Just outright grab the wallets. Some of them may be like typing in right now and realize they might not have realized that their wallet had been grabbed. And we are working with our allies all over Europe to grab villas and houses and properties.
The president knows the mullahs can't be trusted, but General Keene says turning the money spigot on and off is an effective form of control.
We know they're going to cheat. Look at this. Right now, what's taking place just this week alone.
There we go. Sobriety in crisis with Christ. It's important, and I want to let people know they don't have to live like that, especially the younger generation. I would appreciate if you guys, if not, no problem. Thanks for considering. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, Christ seems to help so many people. There you go.
With the violation of the ceasefire in the Straits of Hormuz, who's doing that? The Iranians are doing that. I point this out because it reminds us who we really are dealing with here. They are likely to want to cheat. Now, we've got good leverage points here. We have the money. We have their frozen assets, and we have sanctions. So we can meter that out based on how their behavior is changing and what their level of commitment is.
Reports also say that Iranian officials have proposed letting American companies, including energy companies, do business inside its borders, AKA we're getting the oil. Is this finally the deal that we've been waiting for? Who the hell knows with the Iranians? Here's Scotty B.
The first level leaders decapitated, the second level decapitated, so we're dealing with the third level, and it's very tough, because on one side we have a theocracy with the clerics, on the other side we have a thugocracy with the IRGC, and you've got to convince both sides.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich is convinced that President Trump is on the edge of a historic victory. It's not just a win militarily against Iran, but the president's been able to unite the Arab world against them and unite the Jews and Arabs, kind of. That's real power. Just today, Rubio met with ministers from Pakistan, the middlemen of the deal. 15 years ago, Pakistan was hiding bin Laden, and now they're helping us make peace. Still don't fully trust them, but we've come a long way. Trump's led a coalition of allies, reshaped the Middle East, and set it on a hopefully prosperous path. If the Arabs have skin in the game, especially if they align with Israel, it's clear now Iran's everybody's problem. Here's JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon.
Maybe we should have done it like 25 years ago, get all the allied nations, get 500,000 troops around Iran and told them this is over. We're not putting up with this stuff anymore, because that would have been a better outcome. Because I do agree, Iran having a nuclear weapon may be the biggest threat facing mankind. Because if they have it, so will Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, South Korea, Philippines, Japan, Australia, and then I don't know how you stop real proliferation at that point.
Wall
Thank you, Donna. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy.
Street's bullish. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ hit all record highs today again. And crude's on track for its largest one-month decline in 6 years. It's down 20% in May. And gas prices are coming down, too. 49 out of the 50 states saw prices drop last week. Just not Alaska, but they're doing a lot of big business up there.
So here's a good question. When Jamie Dimon warns about Iran and inflation, is he protecting America or protecting Wall Street? That's the gentleman that was just on, who works with JP Morgan.
Dimon says nothing beats the United States.
That America is still the beacon of light in the hill, is still the arsenal of democracy, the bastion of freedom. I'm quite patriotic in that, and that this country provides safety to the whole world. And it wasn't just our allies, it actually provides safety to India, people who are not allied nations of the United States of America. And I think the most important thing is we have the strongest military in the world, underpinned by the strongest economy in the world.
The Pentagon's still ready to strike if needed. Hegseth, swung by the USS Boxer in the Indo-Pacific, rocking a This Is War t-shirt. He went to make sure the boys were in tip-top shape, just in case.
It's an honor to be here. This is the best view, I'm convinced, looking out at all of you. It's not me, it's you guys. It's all of you. It's what you're ready to do. It's what the world knows you're prepared to do. You could be doing a lot of other things. You choose to serve. You choose to serve this great country in uniform, in harm's way, on behalf of the American people. And because of what you do and how you do it, I can sit at a table and talk about American deterrence and American strength. Godspeed in your mission.
Pistol Pete told him not to get too comfortable.
As the president said,
not propaganda, right? Not a propaganda. A proper look at something, not propaganda.
I lost on time 2 days ago now in the cabinet meeting. I'm sitting right next to him. He looks in the camera and says, well, Iran can either do it the right way with a deal across the table, or they can deal with my guy on the left. That happened to be me.
There you go.
It's not me, it's you guys.
We're on the verge of an Iran deal, but the Secretary of War is solidifying our partnership in Asia. He went east for the Shangri-La conference in Singapore. Hegs have held meetings with Prime Minister Wang and others. China is watching. They know what's up. Over in our own backyard, the Pentagon just ordered 1,300 Marines and sailors to head on over to the Caribbean to support Operation Southern Spear, you know, our mission against the drug cartels. Is Cuba next? Maybe. A.G. Blanche says he wants to see Castro's little bro nabbed and here on home soil. And the commander of Southern Command just met with senior Cuban military leaders at the edge of Guantanamo Bay. First time that's ever happened in history. We'll have to see, but life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller. Harley Littman's a foreign policy expert and geopolitical analyst. Harley, the no dust, no deal paradigm. You like that?
It's great. That was the main purpose here. And people have to realize that if Iran were to ever get a nuclear bomb, they have made it very clear it has one address, and that's the United States. They were building ICBMs that have the sole purpose to carry a nuclear warhead on it. And that's one of the remarkable successes of our fighting against Iran. We virtually wiped out their ICBM capability, but they could reconstitute it, so we have to be careful.
The economic squeeze that Scotty B's putting on them. We're seeing.
So we have that Cuba may be next, in what they were talking about, like maybe in the invasion sense, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's just next in the pressure campaign, right? The question is whether Washington is using deterrence to prevent a fight or building the legal and political runway for one, right? Is that their game plan for the future? And I think some of the people miss this counter cartel thing. That language can become a bridge phrase. It starts as D-rugs, then expands to terror groups, foreign advisors, drones, ports, bases, and regime ties. That is how a narrow maritime mission can slowly become a broader Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, Russia hemisphere story.
Seizing villas, we're seizing estates. They have them in Europe. They have them all over the world. Is that the kind of thing that really hurts?
Oh, yeah. Because if you hurt the pocketbooks of the mullahs who are corrupt and rich.
And by the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. And we got Phil SCBX saying, imagine the people of Iran return to freedom like they had in 1979. Just laughter and joy, right?
And own this property. It's going to be painful. It's a creative approach, and it speaks to President Trump's wisdom in trying to do a deal now, because it is really important to be mindful of the midterm elections. It's important to realize that inflation is going up, and we want to bring down the price of gas, which is what he's going to do. And that is very wise of President Trump. At the same time, we have to realize these mullahs are not giving up on jihad no matter what we do, unless in the end we break them. And I think ultimately that will be what I think and hope President Trump will do at a later date.
It seems like there is a strategy. You got the religious fanatics, and then you have the military brass over there. There is a strategy to kind of turn them against each other and then play them off of each other. Is that what we're doing?
I think so, but I'm a little skeptical, because I think the same way in Nazi Germany, they were all Nazis, the leadership, the generals, and the political leaders. Same thing here. They're all jihadists. They want to take over the world. And above all, when they say death to America every day for 47 years, they mean it. This is how they brainwash their people.
Do you think the American people, when this wraps up and we get a peace deal and hopefully we can destroy the uranium, do you think they're going to go back and say, you know what, this was a...
When they say death to America, they're meaning the idea of how the politicians run America. Not actual Americans, but you know, that's one thing about statements. You make one statement in the 70s and it sticks. It just sticks. Right or wrong? What do you think?
Good thing. This omission was righteous because we should be having parades for the military men and women who actually achieved this success.
Without a doubt. And this will be Trump's legacy. Not that he brought down the price of gas below $4 a gallon, but his legacy will be that he prevented Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Biden didn't do it, Obama didn't do it, the previous 7 presidents didn't do it. He's, for the first time, this president has the most leverage over Iran than any American president did in 47 years. It's really essential that he take full advantage of that. And this will be really a critical part of how the people in the world will remember him. And I think in the future, people will thank President Trump.
That'd be great if they do thank President Trump in the future. Absolutely. So Harley Lippman's point is simple. War overseas becomes pain at the pump at home, right? But don't let anyone make it too simple. Gas prices are not one man with a magic lever just pulling it, right? They're war risk, oil supply, refinery bottlenecks, taxes, and panic all stacked together. And something that people often miss is the political danger is not just expensive gas. It's expensive gas plus groceries plus summer driving season. That combination hits working people emotionally and immediately.
Because this is a universal theme. We don't want nuclear proliferation. They get a nuclear weapon, even if you don't, nation said they'll get one. And in that part of the world, someone's going to end up using one. So this is an American theme, and we're grateful to President Trump in finally tackling this problem.
Yeah, well, those Iranians are pretty crafty. What did they invent, you said?
Right, we talked earlier. They invented chess, so they're very clever.
They invented chess. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. So let's make sure we get this right. Harley, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bezos's rocket goes boom. Plus, fraud files. Straight ahead.
Is that what happened? Bezos's rocket goes boom. That was a big, colorful one. Trumpy making moves.
And it is a breaking news Friday afternoon. John, it is good to be with you. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith.
W's in the chat for a woman that looks like a woman, Sandra Smith. How you doing? Well dressed, well dressed. So Justin Trump makes clearest move yet that shows final decision on Iran nuclear deal is near. There you go.
Smith in New York.
Sandra, I was so looking forward to a breaking news Friday afternoon. Well, it makes it go fast.
You got it.
I'm John Roberts in Washington. This is America Reports. President Trump announced the meeting today on Truth Social, reiterating.
There he is, your POTUS. We got Josh P jumping in the chat saying, oh, look, the Trump CUCK show. By that, I mean Fox, not Bros channel. There you go, brother. Thank you, man. If you like this stuff, we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. Talk to us. Let's learn something.
His red lines with Iran. However, as we wait to hear his decision, it's unclear whether top Iranian leaders will accept the concessions in the latest memo of understanding.
We have an all-star lineup for you to break down the latest in this war with Iran, including Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. He is here on how America's energy security is tied to this conflict.
But first, our senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, who just came out of the Situation Room. No, just kidding. He's on the north lawn of the White House with the latest. Hey, Peter.
And, John, President Trump has a lot to consider. We know that. He laid out, though, the main points that he is thinking about this morning or this afternoon now in a very long Truth Social post. But these are the highlighted bullets, my highlights. The Hormuz Strait must immediately open, no tolls. Ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which will now be lifted, may start the process of heading home. Enriched materials, sometimes referred to as nuclear dust, will be unearthed by the United States in close coordination in conjunction with the Islamic Republic of Iran, plus the International Atomic Energy Agency, and destroyed. No money will be exchanged until further notice. And with that, so far, so good for experts.
How can we get news from Iran? Is that possible? Is there some Iranian firewall?
there's a couple of points in the post that really give us cause for optimism. One is that the strait will be open, it'll be cleared of mines, and traffic can flow freely in and out. That's extremely important to the whole global trading effort, and it's good to see that the president is really sticking to his guns there.
And the president is also explaining why he is trying not to be influenced here by the 2026 election calendar.
So you have really a very small window. So if you wanted to play that game, then you would wait till the midterms are over, and then the following hour, you'll attack Iran because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Most people agree with me on that. But then it gets maybe carried into, the next election, whether it's a midterm or not. So you have a very short window for doing anything having to do with war.
And it seems like the key point here is that President Trump says no money will be exchanged until further notice. Does that mean that money will be exchanged at some point? Or does that mean that money could be unfrozen from frozen Iranian accounts now? And does that count or not count as exchanging money?
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest.
Yeah, girl. There you go. There you go. So there is some Iranian news channels and I kind of just want to see what their stance is. Okay, like this. Missiles rain down on Israeli targets in fresh wave of Hezbollah counterattack. All right. That was very recent. A total of 24 Israeli soldiers and settlers have been extinguished since hostilities with Hezbollah. The Hebrew language Mariv daily newspaper has termed Hezbollah drones as a terrifying nightmare. Okay. So, that's not directly towards the United States on that one, but I guess we're making a little bit of progress. Let's see a little bit more of this.
The Democrat Party.
We got Made Man saying not true at all. Okay. Okay, that's the Hanity one. Yeah. Tara Matthews, how you doing? How you doing?
Wow, I know. Yeah. All right. Happy 48 hours till Monday. Let's welcome tonight's guests. In high school, his hair went to the prom without him. Co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend, Charlie Hurt. If this guy's here, who's guarding the bridge? Host of the You're Welcome podcast, Michael Mallett. His kids love watching him on TV because that means he's out of town. Actor, comedian, and Jamie Wiseau. She once grabbed a child's helium balloon and ended up in Kansas. New York Times bestselling author. Wow, look at that studio. All right, before we get to some news stories, let's do this. I never really
Greg's leftovers.
All right.
It's leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week. If they suck, we'll send Joe Mackey to an ICE detention center covered in bean dip.
All
right.
Oh, poor Joe.
A powerful 5.0 magnitude earthquake struck the city of Tupan, China. Even though the epicenter was 7,000 miles away, Bill Clinton still told the Hooters waitress to get under the table.
Monica.
How we were able to connect an earthquake. In an interview, Madonna said that John Kennedy Jr. was the best sex of her life. What about us? Said the Detroit Pistons.
Oh. Nice.
Dang.
Good work, Mackie.
All right, so this is something else that I found from the Iranian news outlets. So here we have an image of a presenter from Iranian state television during a live broadcast at the moment when the channel targeted by an Israeli strike on June 16, 2025 in Iran. All right, so we have that. And I was thinking to myself, let's see, what's going on? So we got a 3-layer verification system. First, Iranian official sources tell you what Tehran wants people to believe. IRN, Press TV, MEHR, ISNA, Tasnim, Fars, fast, useful, but biased. Okay. And the second one, real-time evidence tools show what may actually be happening. Net blocks for internet shutdowns, flight trackers for airspace changes, marine traffic for ships, NASA firms for fires, explosions. And third, independent cross checks help verify or challenge the official story. Reuters, AP, BBC Persian, Iran International Radio, Farda, human rights groups. All right, so you need to have a main rule, right? Never call something confirmed from one source. You want local claim plus official response and physical evidence or independent confirmation. So yeah, obviously we don't want to chase rumors. We're kind of watching what Iran says, what the censors show, and what independent reporters can verify. So something people miss is an official denial can itself be news because it shows which rumor or accusation is spreading fast enough to force a response. Like someone in the comments section on one of the posts said, try finding a bad story on POTUS Donald Trump prior to 2015. You can't find it. You can't find it. He just got all this heat once he became a president. Do you agree or disagree? And by the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Milli Vanilli denies that they're playing at America's 250th celebration, mainly because one half of the duo is dead. Of course, that never stopped this famous pair. Jerry Nadler visited an ICE detention center in Newark where he heard that there are maggots in the food, prompting him to call his assistant to bring him his maggot sauce. A Florida cop pulled over a one-handed woman for holding a cell phone while driving. Don't ask her how she operated the stick shift. There are reports that the next James Bond will be a woman. Yeah, instead of a license to kill, she'll have a license to blame you for whatever happened to her in her dreams. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket exploded in a giant fireball on the launch pad. The explosion was so powerful that it's almost a day later and his wife's tits are still shaking.
That's wild. Do you guys know the story behind this woman? Like how many athletes and how hard she's been trying to climb that elite ladder? Goodness gracious, what a story behind this woman.
No Kings announced they're holding a protest concert with Bette Midler, Joy Reid, and Jane Fonda on the same night as the White House UFC event. So you can either watch people who suffer from head injuries or the UFC. An avocado festival in Mexico set a new record with a 14,000.
So the thing that people don't understand with like the Bezos blow up, it's not just a Bezos rocket blows up. It affects Amazon's satellite internet race and NASA Artemis timelines, SpaceX's competitive advantage, and possibly U.S. launch capacity. Also, debris may wash ashore, so officials warn the public not to touch suspected wreckage. There you go. And by the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
991 pound serving of guacamole. It also set a record for hiding 300 illegal immigrants in a 14,991-pound serving of guacamole.
Guacamole.
A new study shows that talking animals are getting more screen time than women over 60 in Hollywood. Although some people couldn't tell the difference.
Okay.
A meteor was caught on video crashing into an erupting volcano in the Philippines in what's being called the most unlikely collision of disasters since Courtney Love married Larry Kudlow.
Oh my gosh.
Brief. Scientists now believe that we all have a twin of ourselves living in a parallel universe. Wow, that's terrible news. That means there's two Kilmeads. RFK Jr. was bitten numerous times after snatching up 2 snakes. Don't worry, they quickly administered rabies shots and the snakes are doing fine. In China, a startup built an AI pet translator.
So as far as that meteor hitting the volcano, Five Oaks also warned people about fake AI-generated videos claiming the meteor struck Mayon. So use the real footage. I don't know. Is it real? Is it fake? Actually, we got Terry in the Philippines. Can you say if that was real or fake?
With amazing accuracy, but over there, every dog keeps saying the same thing. Why are you sprinkling salt on me? They eat dogs, not my problem.
Chris Jensen, it's a pity. Come on.
During a live taping of The View, Whoopi Goldberg mistook an audience member for Barack Obama. I know, when in fact it was Michelle Obama.
Dang.
And finally, the lead singer of a famous rock band has come out as gay after being married for 14 years. The wife had suspicions since while the other bandmates banged groupies, he would guys.
He has nothing to
How
say.
did she
That's
not
weird.
notice? She had her suspicions. So it's rough news for the Dems. Turns out they have no breakthrough candidate, and voters just let them know it. A new poll of 2028 contenders is out, and it's bleaker than a dog park in Vietnam.
Yeah, and going back to that musician, that's something that often happens when people are just extremely promiscuous and they keep on going to the next level and the next level and the next level. And they're not satisfied. That's that one thing about being satisfied, which is extremely important. Being content with not too much, just enough, just to live a healthy and good life. That's an important thing to do. And yeah, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Pete Buttigieg leads the field at just 18%, Gavin 16%, AOC 11%, Josh Shapiro 10%, and Kamala's also at 10%, matching her blood alcohol level. That's the future of the party. But this is what happens when a party loses an election and learns absolutely nothing from it. After all, that DNC autopsy of 2024 should have been an opportunity for enlightenment. Instead, it had more gaslighting than Jerry Nadler lighting his farts after a night of Taco Bell. They still don't get it, yet voters got it perfectly. They saw the open borders, identity politics, men and women's sports, rampant criminality, cities turned into outdoor pharmacies. But instead of repudiating any of it, Dems are just trying to rebrand it. But you might as well rebrand your stint with ISIS as just a poor choice for spring break. All right. So why is it so hard for the Dems to admit they really screwed up? Well, one, their egos won't allow them. And two, their children. Caught in a dilemma between starting something new versus continuing down a path where they've already made gains in terrible things, they do what a child does. Continue racking up gains in terrible things. They can't see the future benefit if they start over. It's like the hiker who is lost, but keeps going in the wrong direction because they don't want to start over.
We got Francis P. Johnson jumping in the chat saying Democrat, Socialist, Islamic Radical Party is everything against our Bill of Rights. Agree or disagree? And there's something Okay, let's hear
over.
this one.
That's how I lost my first 3 wives who had put on weight.
There you go. So the truth about being content, it does not mean you stop dreaming, right? You keep on going for your dreams. It means stop letting the dream rob you of your peace. So you can want a better life, a better body, a better job, a better future, but still look around today and say, God, thank you. I have enough, and be grateful for right now, right? And a person who is never content can have everything and still feel poor. And a person with gratitude can have very little and still walk like a king, right? And don't compare your chapter to somebody else's highlight reel. It's not beneficial by any means. You got to be ambitious. Don't be bitter. Work hard. Don't worship money. You love people, but don't use people. And, remember that the goal is not just to become successful. The goal is to become the kind of human being who can receive success without losing their soul. That is contentment. Peace with purpose. Gratitude with direction. A full heart, even while you are still becoming.
You don't deserve that joke. And this doomed path can only survive through the promise of more free stuff, because they've trained the voters for that. And there's no way to tell them it's over. They can't end the instant gratification and suddenly say, you got to do the hard work just like the people you hate. It's why they can't let go of identity politics. You already told voters they deserve something just by being you, which means the only path is taking from the more successful and turning it into free stuff for them. On top of that, you add the reward of feeling special, even though the takers have done nothing to deserve it. So you end up with an entire party that no longer can function like the rest of us. Meanwhile, it offers the same old faces that gave us the summer of love, the border disaster, the COVID nonsense. But here's the bigger problem. They think they can win just by waiting America out. They're like our foreign adversaries. Don't worry, Trump will be gone, sit tight. That's how China's been operating for a while. So their answer is just an airbrushed version of the same 2020 insanity. But you can't spend years telling people that merit is racist, the border is oppressive, men can get pregnant, shoplifting is economic justice, and then 4 years later, when people ask you about those issues, not have moved a single inch. So
there you go. There you go. Lay it on the table. Got David Bork jumping in the chat saying Clinton allowed Island Man to do what he did. Goodness gracious. Do y'all agree or disagree in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
Their plan will be to avoid talking about all that stuff, which sadly will leave them with absolutely nothing to talk about.
Period. Go get into it.
Charlie.
I'm worried about where this is going.
Me too. Hashtag don't touch me. It seems to me that the Democrats are not looking for ideas or trying to rediscover common sense. They're just kind of banking on somebody to show up that will repackage old ideas. Kind of like a Mondami.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to exactly what you just said. For them, it's always been about just being who they are.
Yeah.
Because of their personality or because of who they are, they're in line to assume power next. The greatest gift that Donald Trump gave, the thing that upset people, that people got upset about with Donald Trump, was he took a blowtorch to all the niceties and all the norms of politics. But that's also the
W's in the chat for Francis P. Johnson saying, a sharecropper's daughter here. A midlife's granddaughter, a retired hospice caregiver myself. We give with pure hearts and bodies. What an angel. W's in the chat for Francis. Amazing. Got to support more good people like Francis. That's amazing. Thank you for your service, Francis. Hero.
greatest thing that he did. And because he did that, we're talking about ideas. And both 2016 and 2024 are the most issue-oriented elections of our lifetime because Donald Trump seared away all of that. And I think that, to me, the biggest number, the most important number, is Karen Bass is running for re-election. She's the incumbent. She's at 26%. This is after Gavin Newsom, the sitting governor of a very Democrat state, has endorsed her, and she's sitting at 26% in the polls. And I think that what that proves is it's not just conservatives or right-wingers or independents who are sick and tired of Democrat ideas. It's Democrats in the most Democrat state in the country.
Very interesting, Michael.
Is it?
Not really.
No, because no, it's not.
But it's Friday. I'll be nice. You know, Michael, you're kind of a careful pessimist, I would say.
No, my book's called The White Pill. It's about hope. I'm not a pessimist at all. America's great, and our best days are ahead of us, not behind us.
I'll edit that out.
There you go. Best days ahead. What an optimist. We got Eden and Susanna thinking differently, saying Americans are the worst thing to ever happen to America. Your whole way of life needs to be made against the law. Please explain yourself. What do you mean? Would like to know what you're trying to say by that. Thank you for your chat. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
So, I guess what I'm saying is, do not count your chickens before they hatch.
That's right. And I think, to Charlie's point, Karen Bass might be at 26%.
Uh-oh, first Heathen dropping some truths in chat saying, the Democrats work in conjunction with the Republicans. Republicans say they'll build a wall, but don't. Dems let in 30 million illegals. Trump in power again. Stops border crossing. No deportation. What do you think? Agree or disagree with first Heathen? Thank you for your chat, buddy.
But I'm sure if you combine the Democratic candidates' vote, it's going to be like 70%. I don't think Spencer Pratt's break.
Thank you for the gold coin for 10 jewels, Rudy Armenta. Appreciate it, buddy.
Making at 50%. Look, here's the thing that the real number, I think, is President Trump beat Officer Harris by 1.5 points in the popular vote. So you had the worst Democratic candidate in decades and the best Republican campaign in decades, and he still didn't have a huge blowout like Bush in '88 against Dukakis. So I think all the Democrats have to do is say, we're not Trump, we're not the Republicans. They might not understand binary in a gender term, but they do understand binary in a political sense. So
True, absolutely. We got Minato jumping in the chat saying Americans do have problems, but it is also a fact America is one of the best countries to live in. Agree or disagree, chat? What do you think?
So if I'm not the Republicans and the Republicans are unpopular, people are going to vote for the Dems.
That is such a really good point that I didn't think of. That, like, if they're so into non-binary, why aren't they non-binary in politics?
Right. Because you know why?
Why?
Because all it comes down to is, what do I need to say to get you to do what I want? They don't use language to communicate, they use it to manipulate. And you don't have to take anything they say at face value, because it's just
fascinating.
It's about power.
It's a great point. Hey, producer, can we edit that out as well? I'm going to say the exact same thing on the 5. I probably will without even knowing it. Anyway, so, Kat, is it just too early?
Yes.
It's okay. It's almost. Where are we? 26. It's not quite.
Good one. Good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Nice job.
That's what you do, Michael.
You know what year it is.
You agree with me. Is it 2 years so far? 2 years so? We got another 2 years.
Good
but really, the last year doesn't really matter.
Eden and Susanna, where do you live now?
Nobody's paying attention.
No, why do we always have to do this?
Yeah.
Like in 2028.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just take it a little slower than that? Who knows what the world's gonna look like by 2028?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, there could be a lot in store. I might get another cat.
I hope you get another cat, because I really miss the cat stories.
I feel like I need, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna end up getting a cat. It's like I had enough, hard enough time getting through 528.
Yeah.
Which was
W's in the chat for a woman who actually looks like a woman. There you go, girl. Drink your tea. Love it. And we got my Mr. Awesome says, you can go to Britain and Canada and get arrested for a Twitter post. Unfortunately, that is accurate. Goodness gracious. Freedom of speech. Can we bring it back in the UK?
was yesterday. And now we're like 2028. We do this because whatever. It's something to talk about, I guess. Mm-hmm. But there's so many things that could change. There's so many things. It will be interesting, though, I think, to not have Trump on the ballot, because everything, and I mean everything, still revolves around him so much. And I know you hate when I talk about Love Island, but here we go.
Oh, boy.
Love Island. Love Island is starting on June 2nd.
What?
Thank God. Good reason to live. But
Thank you, Minato. Thank you, buddy.
there's the cast list came out, and there already people are looking for like who follows Trump. And who is there? This person posted in a MAGA hat at some point, or is this person associated with it? And trying to be like, well, I know who we're voting off. This is a show where people in their early 20s hang out by a pool, gyrate on each other, and vote people off of an island. None of this should be involved in terms of that. So it touches truly everything. Will that change? It has to some extent.
Well, you know that kind of infection is
ain't mistaken. Just dropping some heat in the chat.
everywhere. It's like if a pop singer can't say that they like this show because they'll get in trouble. But I bet they find a replacement for that. Whoever is, if it's Vance or if it's Rubio, it's going to be like he has a Rubio bumper sticker on his.
It's not going to be as bad.
Yeah, it won't
I
be.
think Trump is uniquely deranging to people.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do too.
He's like the heroine of derangement.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
I'm good. I really liked your joke about the ex-wife's hiking and gaining weight.
You actually look like the photo of the quote bereaved husband after you've reported that she fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I'm like, just bring her back if you have her.
Sheila, we talked about that in the last 3 live streams. Girl, where you been?
Oh, wow.
You know, my ex-wife, same thing happened. Every time I went out of town, she gained the weight of another man on top of her.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
To the topic, I don't know what the Dems are doing wrong, but keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of fun to watch. You almost don't want to fix it. And it doesn't matter. They don't listen anyway. They just keep doing everything wrong, so it's kind of fun. I personally do enjoy watching it, even though it's way too early. I'm rooting for, if I have to root for somebody, I'm rooting for AOC. Because I root for things based on the amount of comedy potential.
Yes.
And we will get the most clips from. Did you know, I read this week, that AOC, did you know why she goes by AOC?
Why?
It's because anybody dumb enough to vote for her wouldn't be able to remember her name in the voting booth. That way they're in there like, hey, oh, how do you spell AOC? And find it.
Yeah.
I do think she's hot, though.
She's attractive.
I think she's like an 8 or a 9. But then when she opens her mouth, it keeps going down. It's like 9, 8, 7, 6.
I hope that gets clipped. All right, up.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest.
What do you think, chat? What do you think? What do you think? AOC, when she opens her mouth, her rating just drops. Or it rises. You never know. You never know. Longview families in anguish as search for missing paper mill tragedy victims continue. What a sad story. There's got to be something good about it, though, right?
The difficult recovery efforts go on in Longview ever since Tuesday's deadly chemical tank rupture, with one more person found.
Yeah, well, we got a few people saying she's so dumb. Always on ketamine. Ketamine, my goodness. Let her run. Yeah, there you go.
Death toll now rising to 9, though 2 people are still missing and presumed to have died. It is 11 o'clock on this Friday. I'm Elizabeth Din. The search, it is far from over, as crews say they've made some headway in recovery and cleanup. Our Ariel Yakabazi has been in Longview all week, and tonight she explains what happens now.
Flags are lowered at half-staff here at the Nippon Packaging Facility in Longview as we wrap up day 4 of recovery efforts. The hard part now is getting to those last 2 people and finding their remains. So
you got Waffle Jackson jumping in the chat saying AOC is a solid 8, but she opens her mouth and gives you the SSRI eyes, and it takes her to a 4.5. There you go. There you go. My goodness. W's in the chat for a female who looks like a female. There we go. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. This is so sad. 9 dead, 2 missing after tank breach. Goodness.
But we're told officials still have to remove the harsh chemicals and debris, which, as we've seen, is a very tedious process.
We know that the families, the victims' families, are waiting for those results as soon as possible.
So sad, so sad. We got my Mr. Rossum says, I'm a black citizen and Democrats keep us in ghettos so our culture would always be stunted. So sad what they did to the black community. And do you guys believe that whole conspiracy theory that black music was changed from, you know, R&B and soul into rap music to program the youth, the African American youth or the black youth to become, I guess, violent and not law-abiding? What about creating the black youth, the white youth, the orange, brown, any color to be a good person? You know, don't follow this propaganda of, you know, oh, it's cool on the radio to commit crimes. You know, I'll get some girls in bikinis in a jacuzzi right next to me with a Maybach. No, you're going to get an inmate and you're going to get beaten and you're going to get bad credit. What about being an upright citizen and just being content? You don't need all these things that are there to impress people that don't care about you and you don't care about them. What about being a good person, loving your family, your close friends, and trying to help the world, right? Oh, 2026 says, I got it. This is a racist loser channel. How is that racist? That's the exact opposite of racism right there, buddy. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
The agonizing wait far from over. Crews are still hard at work removing loads of hazardous material from the massive packaging site. The area inside of the red circle marks the most dangerous area, which happens to be the focus of recovery efforts.
Recovery efforts continue today on expanding into new areas that we have not been able to access until now.
Longview Fire, with the help of several other agencies, removed large amounts of the still dangerous chemical from the site overnight.
I still want to
True, MT. They should work for us. They should. Oh, Les Paul saying deflection. There you go. How you doing, Les Paul? Good to see you, buddy.
emphasize it's very precision work for us.
While their dangerous, methodical work continues, with crews prioritizing care and dignity, their community is rallying. Flags are lowered at half-staff across Cowlitz County, and fundraisers at several local businesses like Burgerville and Dutch Bros. A show of support for first responders. And a show of solidarity to people who lost
Francis says Pakistani bots in the chat.
loved ones in the disaster. Kara Franklin and her peers came to a car wash outside of Faye's Carriage Restaurant and Lounge on Friday.
I have a couple cousins that was in the incident that I lost. So I just want to show up and help any way I can.
And local lawmakers are calling for a prompt and transparent investigation by
Yeah, they need an investigation for sure.
the Department of Labor Industries into this disaster. Senator Jeff Wilson, who represents Longview, heading that call for transparency. He'll be speaking with our Todd Unger during Sunday's Eye on Northwest Politics.
I would say that there's some anguish involved. Naturally, for the families of the remaining victims, they need closure. Everybody needs to get to that step where their loved ones, they can gather around and make arrangements and begin to move on to the next phase of this.
During today's press conference, a Nippon representative told reporters no news yet on what caused this deadly rupture, but they are still looking into it and investigating. In the meantime, the recovery...
Oh, married woman. There we go. I wish the best for her future and her husband. Great. American flag. What a great shot.
efforts, they have progressed a lot in the last few days, although this process is far from over. Reporting in Longview tonight, Ariel Yakabazi, KOIN 6 News.
There you go, girl. There you go. Judge says no. Trump's
Washington, D.C.
Weaponization fund. All right.
Tonight, where a federal judge delivered a major blow here to the Trump administration's billion-dollar anti-weaponization fund. Critics, including Republicans, have called it a slush fund for the president's allies who have claimed they were targeted by the federal government. Now, the DOJ is in control of that.
Rudy Armenta jumping in the chat saying, can't spell hate without Democrat.
Pot nearly $1.8 billion, which came out of a settlement agreement between President Trump and the IRS. A January 6th prosecutor later sued to block the fund just last week. Well, now the administration is not allowed to use the fund while the legal motions play out. And according to the judge's order issued today, that includes transferring money to the fund, the consideration of any claims submitted to that DOJ fund, and the disbursement of any of that money. Now, in a statement tonight, the Justice Department slamming that ruling, stating, quote, "We will not allow the policy preferences of judges to interfere with our efforts to provide restitution to victims of lawfare."
Is this a good decision? What do you think, chap? Eden Susanna says, I'd rather spend $1 billion on a ballroom than $350 billion on bombs for the comedian over there. Yeah.
Breaking tonight, former Attorney General
Pam Bondi testifies on the Island Man files. Y'all have been asking for it, the Island Man files. Here they are.
Pam Bondi talks to congressional lawmakers about the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Got Yvonne Mitoyer saying, I'm glad this judge blocked it. Trump and this administration are just nothing but a bunch of crooks. There you go. We got Jazz Tree saying, big red wave coming in November. Get ready. Ride that wave, that kelp wave. Oh, yeah.
Bondi appeared today in closed session before the House Oversight Committee. Correspondent David Spahn tells us what he's hearing about that tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. The former Attorney General spent almost 4 hours behind closed doors answering questions about the DOJ's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Bondi was wearing a bandage on her throat. She's recovering from thyroid cancer. She was quiet on her way in and out of the hearing room. The interview was transcribed, not open to the public. She was not under oath, the same way that most of the other hearings have been done in the Epstein investigation. Now, lawmakers today, Brett, say that during the interview, Bondi did not answer several questions about private conversations with President Trump about the Epstein files.
She was not under oath? It's a little interesting, right? Curious.
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
Not yet. Hopefully soon.
Please
though.
support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
There you go. That's right.
However, say that Ghislaine Maxwell should not receive a pardon and should die in prison.
We're going to do everything we can. We want to bring people to justice. If anyone was involved in these hideous crimes, they should be held accountable.
We are not going to give up on this. I think Republicans believe that they just kind of carry out these nonsense transcribed interviews and don't show up here today, that we will forget about this.
Survivors like Liz Stein showed up in solidarity to press the government to do more for victims.
I was 21 years old in
Thank you, Francis. God bless you, too.
1994 and a senior in college when I met Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I've spent more than 30 years living with the consequences of what happened to me.
The committee has already heard from Maxwell, former Attorney General Bill Barr, former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, who cut a plea deal with Epstein in 2008, and President Bill and Secretary Hillary Clinton, who both were under oath in
General George Washington, 1776, jumping in on the chat saying, 250 years since my great victory. Thank you, General George Washington. Good to have you in the chat. Do you have anything to share about your victory or any wild stories a lot of people don't know about?
In response to a subpoena, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick also appeared recently before the committee, and Microsoft founder Bill Gates, who once had a friendship with Epstein, is scheduled to answer questions before the committee next month. Brett?
David, thank you.
Be sure to...
Epstein. Oh, man. There you go. NATO sent him jumping in the chat saying 0 Island Man files under Biden, 3.5 million pages documents, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images related to Island Man released under Trump. Thank you, Trump. There you go. Got General George Washington saying, I never actually chopped down a cherry tree. There you go. We got Hegseth commenting on Iran on sidelines of Shangri-La Dialogue Security Forum. All right. Talk to us, Hegseth.
You said any deal would be a good deal. Can you expand on that with Iran?
What's the president?
Would any deal really be a good deal?
I love the disingenuous questions from the disingenuous press. Said it will be a good deal. That's a very important clarification that maybe CNN can get right.
What did the president express to you on the phone?
Thank you. Patience. The president's patient. He's only going to get a great deal, and I know we'll get a great deal. That's not any deal, that's a great deal. And he's resolute in that, which I think is what the world would want the President of the United States to be. I appreciate it.
Are we in front of our flags?
Yeah.
You got America, Japan. There you go. Not too much data there, but good enough. Candidates for California governor, LA mayoral races scrambled to deliver final pitch to voters. There you go.
With California's primary just days away, the LA mayor's race is heating up, and the battle to replace Gavin Newsom is coming down to the wire. Mayor Bass continues to hold the lead in the fight to keep her job, and the battle for governor is too close to call.
KTLA's John Fenolio takes a closer look at the latest numbers.
I want you to sit here.
Early voting is underway ahead of California's primary election on Tuesday, and the race for governor is tightening. A new UC Berkeley IGS poll released Friday shows 3 candidates clustered at the top. Democrat Javier Becerra leads with 25%. Republican Steve Hilton follows at 21%. Democratic billionaire Tom Steyer is close behind at 19%.
That number 2 and number 3 spot with Republican Steve Hilton and Democrat Tom Steyer trying to battle for that second place spot.
Inside California Politics managing editor Nikki Lorenzo says many Republicans appear to have rallied around former Fox News host Steve Hilton, while many Democrats are still making up their minds.
A lot of Democrats are sitting on their ballots still and are going to be making those decisions really in the next couple of days, and we're going to be seeing more of those returns coming in from Democrats on Election Day, and obviously how we vote in California past Election Day too.
Early returns show just over 1 in 10 of California's 23 million registered voters have cast a ballot. Republicans are currently voting at a higher rate, with about 15% having already participated. That compares to about 11% of Democrats and roughly 8% of non-party preference and other voters. It's a notable shift. In recent elections, Democrats typically dominated early voting, while many Timmy. Republicans waited until Election Day.
Very, very close indeed.
In the race for Los Angeles mayor, a new poll of likely voters conducted by the Public Sentiment Institute shows incumbent Karen Bass leading.
Karen Bass, Democrat leading 39.9%. Oh my, that's dangerous.
With just under 40%. Spencer Pratt, backed by President Trump, is second at 21%. City Council member Nithya Raman is third with 12%. If no candidate tops 50% on Tuesday, the top two advance to a November runoff.
All right, Election Day is Tuesday, June 2nd. If you are voting by mail, election officials say don't wait. Ballots must be postmarked by Election Day and received by June 9th. But election officials warned that recent USPS processing changes could create problems for ballots mailed at the last minute. The safest bet, drop your ballot at an official drop box, take it to a vote center, or cast your ballot in person before polls close at...
Jose says, I love you, America. I love you, America. America loves you. There you go.
8 p.m. on Tuesday. In the News Center, I'm John Finolio, sending it back to you in the studio.
Did y'all vote already? Are you gonna vote? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member if you want. Throw in a super chat if you want. Still no deal with Iran. When's there gonna be a deal? Come on, we need a deal.
Still no word on any decision made after President Trump gathered his national security team in the Situation Room to discuss a potential deal with Iran.
Yeah. Robert Hessman says if California elect Bass, they will get what they deserve. Oh my gosh, man. That would be so wild. So wild.
He later posted on social media that he wants to make a, quote, final determination on the ceasefire, but he has a long list of terms, including Iran agreeing to never owning a nuclear weapon and reopening the Strait of Hormuz with no tolls. In exchange, the blockade on Iran's ports would be lifted. Iran's main negotiator said today there is no trust in guarantees or words, only actions. Still, optimism over a peace deal helped the Dow.
Yeah, stock market's going up, though. That's important, right? But what about the peace deal in Iran? Come on. We need some peace. We got footage of multi-spherical UAP near submarine seen in and out of water. All right. I'm not seeing it yet. What an edit. Anna Kasparian on why she left atheism. All right, let's see what's going on.
You were atheist for a long time.
Y'all wanted some Candace. You get some Candace.
Time, but now you're realizing this is bigger.
I mean,
this is good versus evil, like these
definitely.
demons versus angels.
I mean, I definitely
Yo, Adam Crumbly, thank you, buddy. Happy to have you here.
think that over the last 2.5 years, I've been able to identify the existence of evil that I didn't think existed. And that pushed me a little closer to my roots because I grew up Christian. I wouldn't say that I'm like a full-blown Christian again, but I'm now realizing that I've had some experiences too, which I haven't really talked about too much publicly, mostly because after, Tucker Carlson talked about his supernatural experience, people dunked on him, including myself, and I'm very embarrassed about that. Mine wasn't like, oh, I got, attacked by demons. Mine was actually a very positive experience, and it made me very close to humanity, like understanding and appreciating people's humanity first and foremost, before seeing them as nothing more than like a political figure or a political ideology. You know, I think that we've been going back to brainwashing. I think a lot of us have been brainwashed by our political system into dehumanizing people who disagree with us, without realizing that like the only way we come up with solutions in this country in a democracy is if we encourage conversation between Americans, regardless of what they believe politically. It tends to have a more moderating effect as well, right? And you get a better sense of who your fellow Americans are, as opposed to having people in positions of power tell you who your fellow Americans are and scare you about the other side and all of that. And so I just feel like there's something.
Looks like her spatula slipped. Explain yourself. What do you mean? What do you mean? She was cooking and then something happened.
Bigger than us. And it's hard to explain. I'm not really big into religious doctrine per se, but I definitely don't think I'm an atheist anymore.
Right.
Yeah. This is the first time I've said that publicly.
Right. Which is amazing. I mean, I think it's something's on the move, and I keep saying that. It feels like there are so many people that are having that sort of a spiritual awakening, if that's what you want to call it, and recognizing, whoa, what is happening is so evil that it is ancient. There's something ancient about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And the answers are not going to be in these fickle day-by-day discussions, and we need to, what actually has been happening since the beginning of time. And when you, for me, that was kind of the most natural thing where I was like, wow, this is like way deeper than I ever imagined. And it is, you're right, it's something happens that is so, it's like evil by biblical proportions, right?
Yes.
It's like biblical, we can't be the same species if you're okay with what they're doing. Like there's something so much deeper. This is like.
That's a good point. NATO's Senim says if there was any dirt on Trump in the Island Man files, it would have been released in the 4 years Biden was president. Probably. Yeah, most likely. Absolutely. Adam Crumley says, I'm curious, are you a believer? Absolutely, I'm a believer. Are you a believer? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. The Lord loves you. I love you. By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. And Nick Shirley in California, oh my gosh, honestly.
California is actually crazy. Just yesterday, they voted to pass AB 2624, aka the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Now, this bill was only made after I had exposed widespread fraud in communities like the Somali community in Minnesota and the Armenians.
Oi, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. We've been missing you here. Everyone's been crying because Oi's not here. We got Waffle Jackson saying the funny thing about faith is once it's affirmed, it cannot be shaken. There you go, buddy. Awesome, Adam. Happy you are, man. Happy you are.
In California with the hospice fraud. So this bill will make it criminal and put you at civil risk for wanting to expose fraud inside your communities. This is not
Damage. How you doing, buddy? Man, we've been missing you, man. What's going on?
Not just for journalists. This is quite literally for anybody inside the state of California. And what does this bill do? Well, it makes it harder for anyone to look into and expose fraud in immigration support services, including NGOs, nonprofits, healthcare facilities, and all these things.
Would you say Fraudifornia?
Things receive hundreds of millions of dollars each year from the state of California, and there's known to be
Califraudia. There you go. Sal's jumping in on the chat. Oh my gosh. Nice damage. Happy that you're good, dude. I'm good. Thank you, brother.
Millions of dollars worth of fraud inside of these programs. And this bill gets really crazy when you find out who the author of this bill is and who her husband is. I'll tell you about that in just a second. So, for example, let's say you find a Leering Center inside of your neighborhood in Los
The Leering Center. I just can't get over that, man. That thing is so hilarious.
Angeles, and it's being ran by a bunch of Somalians or Armenians or quite literally any immigrant community. They can then say, hey, we demand you to delete this video, and you cannot post that video on social media. And if you do post that video on social media, you're then going to get a $4,000 fine as long as they say it caused reasonable fear to that community. This is exactly what the bill says.
Let me quote it in plain English, directly from the bill. A person shall not publicly post or display on the internet the image of a designated immigrant support services provider.
So that right there is a direct violation of the First Amendment, but it gets worse, you guys. Listen to this. The lady who created this bill, Mia Bonta, she's an assemblywoman, all right? So she's creating this bill to make it so people can't look into how much money these nonprofits, NGOs, and these immigration support services are receiving. Okay, so this is her, and this is her husband. Her husband is literally the Attorney General of California, and his job is to prosecute and find fraud. Meanwhile, his wife is literally trying to cover up people and shield people from investigating fraud inside the state of California.
Yeah. Paul Salsi is on a fire one right there. One nation under fraud, clearly visible with bribery and corruption for all. Absolutely, unfortunately. But fortunately, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want, and hopefully this Nick Shirley thing doesn't pass on the higher places.
California. How is this not a problem? Here's them together. Is this not a conflict of interest? So just to be clear, if you're in California,
much love, Paul,
and you try to expose fraud, you can then be subject to an injunction to remove your video, forced to pay their attorney fees, and a $4,000 minimum fine in damages. That is absolutely crazy. And we know why they're doing this, because millions upon millions of dollars go into these NGOs, nonprofits, and these healthcare providers that then get funneled back into the hands of these politicians to run and continue to push their agendas. And they're just...
Oh, W's in the chat for Adam Crumbly. Oh my gosh. What a man. Legend. There we go. You know what happens after that? Veronica, come here. Stop your workout. Tell Adam how much you love him.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
There you go, girl. Go on and do your push-ups. Thank you so much, Adam. W's in the chat for Adam. Yellow super chat at that.
Use them as their operatives. It's actually freaking crazy. But
and that reminds me, let's talk about something real. Fraud is not clever, right? I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. It's not beating the system. Fraud is theft wearing a nicer suit, right? When you deceive people, fake documents, lie for money, misrepresent who you are, or take what you did not earn, you're not just taking dollars, you're taking trust. And trust is sacred. Because once people stop trusting each other, everything gets darker, business gets harder, friendships get weaker, families get colder, communities fall apart. And upright life does not mean you are perfect, right? Who's perfect? We all know there's only one person in the world that was perfect. It means when nobody is watching, you still try to do what is right. It means your words matter. It means you would rather build slowly with clean hands than rise quickly with a dirty conscience. Money can be replaced. Reputation can be damaged. But character, that is the foundation. So do not worship shortcuts. Do not envy people who cheat and seem to win, right? Because peace is worth more than dirty success. Live clean. Tell the truth. Keep your promises. Make it right when you mess up. And protect people weaker than you. Earn what you have. That is how you sleep well. That is how you become trustworthy. And that is how you live upright. Absolutely. And hopefully everything happens for the best with Mr. Nick Shirley. Angel on earth. Man, oh man. You guys are just talking about the UFC being built at the White House. Come on. Is that what's happening?
Cage match fighting is coming to the White House. Crews have been seen erecting a 6-foot wire mesh fence shaped into an octagon on the White House lawn, ahead of a martial arts show timed for US President Donald Trump's 80th birthday and as part of the US 250th anniversary celebrations. Trump is known as a proud proponent of cage.
There he is. Did you guys see Trump walk in and everyone was like, oh my gosh, so stoked to be here. Trump's here. Everyone was loving Trump, man. That was such a cool moment. Such a cool moment.
Cage match politics. He was the first sitting president to attend a UFC show, sitting courtside in 2019. The league is planning to issue 85,000 free tickets for the event, which falls on a Sunday. Trump has said all top guys will be featured.
You guys gonna watch that?
President to attend.
This is gonna be something wild. Something absolutely wild. Look at that view. Just right in front. My, oh my. That'll be entertaining. We've identified Sam 702. What? Zero says all world will watch. Thanks, President Trump. There you go. There you go. Damage is gonna watch. Awesome.
All right, you guys. Happy Wednesday. On him by his friends and his allies, and I want to be clear, the stress that was being added to his life was because of the friend and the ally, Israel. Now, you may have forgotten this, so I'm going to remind you. I told you guys many moons ago that back during July of 2025, when Bibi Netanyahu was making the rounds, doing a ton of American podcasts in general, he requested to do Charlie Kirk's show. He wanted to come on Charlie Kirk's show, and Charlie refused him. So what did Bibi do instead? Well, he kept up his schedule with podcasters.
Oi, oi, says, I was sober for 10 years. And then I turned 11.
He did The Nelk Boys. That was released on July 24th.
Wait, what? I did not know that. Did you guys know that? Double B did The Nelk Boys? No way, bro.
He did Trigonometry. That was released on August 20th. He also did the Patrick Bet-David show. That was recorded and then released on August 26th. He did the Officer Tatum show. That interview was released on September 4th. Also on September 4th.
What in the world? Did you guys see this? What is going on? How do we not see this?
Al Jazeera Podcast.
Well, it is, as many podcasts are, 70. Well, we have seen in the 2024 campaign, Donald Trump made a conscious effort to go on.
He sat down with Eric Stakelback of TBN. Is it Stakelback? I'm not being funny when I say that I had never heard of Eric Stakelback before I was researching today's episode. And I'm not saying that to big time him, to be clear. I'm saying that because I want you to sit back and fully appreciate how positively bizarre and unusual it is that suddenly
well said, Walter
all of these people are scoring interviews.
Well said, buddy.
With the Prime Minister of Israel, the sitting Prime Minister of Israel. That's a very important man during, I might add, wartime. So yeah, bizarre is the correct adjective, full stop. It's not bizarre for the podcasters who chose to host him. That would be a big get, especially if you're a Zionist and you believe in what he's saying. But it is abnormal. It should be beneath the office of a prime minister of a foreign country to stop what he is doing amidst a war to go on an American podcast tour. Okay. Suddenly, though, Bibi Netanyahu's overcome with the need to hit that podcast circuit. He's effectively on what can be described an American public relations tour in the run-up to Charlie's assassination. These are just the facts. Now, to put this into proper context, would it be strange to you if Keir Starmer, the current sitting prime minister of the UK, suddenly went on a PR blitz in the United States? Like, for what reason would he do that? Why would he suddenly want or need an American audience to appreciate him? Prior to this PR blitz, Bibi Netanyahu had actually not sat down with an American podcaster in years. Years. Since 2023, to be precise, when he sat down with Lex Fridman. And I should make it clear that he made Lex Fridman fly to his office in Israel to conduct that interview. So to what did we owe the honor, Prime Minister? Because it feels to me a little bit like, and again, this is my opinion, pre-PR. Last time he had done any sort of an American PR blitz at all, outside of, independent podcast, I mean, just like him doing multiple shows in a row.
The CNN interview that he did with that guy, that one was lit really well. Very nicely lit.
America, that was back in 2022 when he was crucially not the sitting president, the sitting prime minister of Israel. And there was a more appropriate context. He was hawking his crappy book. That's what he was doing in 2022. He was buying my book. So he went on a tour. That is a reason that people go on press tours, to hawk books. But there was no product in 2025 that he was selling. So what was he doing? And the crucial point again is that Charlie Kirk declined to have him on his show. His friend, Charlie Kirk, he would say, just a few days later, when Charlie was assassinated.
Weird TX deplorable veteran says this woman has lost all credibility. Again, this is my opinion. There you go. And that's what I love about the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. You're allowed to have an opinion. Absolutely.
He would say, Charlie was a great friend. Well, really? Why did he refuse to have you on his show? I know, actually. That was a rhetorical question. The answer is because Charlie had a change of heart regarding Israel and the Hamptons, quote-unquote, intervention, which took place the weekend of August 5th, only furthered Charlie's growing resentment against their strong arming influence. Park that in the back.
Damage Inc. making some statements. Do you think that'll happen after his political career? You never know. You never know.
Back of your mind. Regarding the Egyptian planes, the ones that do not concern Erica Kirk at all. Okay, she's not concerned about that. I have had this sinking suspicion that when you look at the planes, it's plausible that they're being used by Israel, actually, to shuttle VIPs during points of military inflection. Again, this is my opinion. No one knows these planes better than I do. And I noticed also in looking at these planes, they tend to turn off their transponders when they're making short trips around Cairo, about an hour and a half flights, and then they return back to Cairo, and they just, for some reason, turn off their transponders. And when I calculate that distance precisely of where these planes could be going in the in the allotted time frame, I keep coming up with either Israel or Jordan. So those are the options that I look at. And then I also noticed that they seem to move always when Israel is on the brink of trouble, right? And I'll give you an example of what I mean. October 7th, 2023, a day that will live in infamy, probably for the Palestinians. The Egyptian plane, SU-BTU, which I describe as my purple plane, flew from Cairo at 8:50 a.m., shortly after the attacks began. So did somebody fly in and then take them out? I don't know. That's just a fact. October 7th, that's what they did. They flew from Cairo to Paris, and okay, random fact. Then it flew from Paris to St.
October 7th. Okay, that's the okay. From Cairo to Paris. Okay, then Paris to St. Louis.
Louis, Missouri, stays for 5 days. Giving you another example here. Similarly, on April 14th, of October, on April 14th of 2024, I believe I wrote 25, but I think it's 24, there was Operation True Promise, okay? That's when Israel was being bombed by Iran and Hezbollah in retaliation because Israel had bombed the Iranian embassy in Damascus. Well, lo and behold, that same Egyptian plane took off, flew from Cairo, always to Paris, and it stayed there for 6 days. So I just thought, it's possible, well, look, on the one hand, it's possible that these are just Egyptian VIPs who are concerned about what's happening in Israel, and they just feel safer in Paris and beyond. Or it's possible that these are Israeli VIPs who are using Egyptian planes, which is something that they have done historically in the past. So that's not something that is that far. You don't have to imagine something, a scenario that hasn't happened many times over in the past. Now, of course, in considering that scenario, I had wondered in my rational mind if it was
Van Vikren, how you doing, buddy?
Was true. Let's say that we could confirm that they are ushering Israeli VIPs during wartime, war incidents. How and why would that ever bring them to Utah? That just feels so random. But of course, you recall that we discovered that Utah is indeed a special place, at least to Bibi Netanyahu, because the Romney family holds considerable political power in Utah. You can't think of Utah without thinking of the Romney.
And if you remember that O'Leary video, what else is coming out of Utah? Very, very interesting, right? All right, so we have the double CCP in Utah, sending all those bots to Kevin O'Leary. And then we have this situation happening in Utah. Very interesting, very interesting.
Family. They are effectively Mormon royalty, and Mitt Romney, as it turns out, is best friends with Bibi Netanyahu. They have a bromance. It's been documented for years in the press, for over 50 years, longer than I have been alive. These two have been besties. We reminded you that they met at the Boston Consulting Group, where they both worked. And they haven't stopped working together and supporting each other since. I told you guys that Mitt Romney's presidential campaign team actually went over to BYU Jerusalem, where, as it turns out, a lot of CIA agents are recruited from. Their approach to work while they're in school during their studies. Very interesting. We've confirmed that. Now, I'm going to remind you also that from the Boston Consulting Group, Mitt Romney founded...
Is that what else is in Utah? All right.
Bain Capital, with an Israeli spy, Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, as one of his seed investors. All of that is an important recap. Park it in the back of your mind as we now go to my favorite place of all, Fort Huachuca. SAM 702, an Air Force plane given the designation SAM because it is carrying a VIP. That designation is used to transport the president, the vice president, cabinet members, commanders, Congress, and other high-ranking government officials or foreign dignitaries. And we wanted to know who was aboard that plane. Not speculating that they did anything wrong. We don't know what happened at Fort Huachuca in the morning, right? We just found a guy who thinks he saw Brian Harpole walking out of a meeting, and for whatever reason, Brian Harpole has been extremely reticent to just present a logical or even respond with a yes or no as to whether or not he was there. We wanted to just know who was there.
Weird Texas deplorable veteran says any liberal is a threat to national security. Oh my gosh. Did you know that Hezbollah has invisible drones, 400 euros to destroy an Israeli tank? Are you serious?
You have to go all the way to the far north of Israel, the Upper Galilee, to understand what is causing the crisis for the Sparta of the Middle East. From the window, two things characterize the landscape: an immense expanse of orchards, kiwi, peach, cherry, and apple trees, and the wall under construction.
Double levels of electrified fences, barbed wire, and then the large reinforced concrete barrier on the border with Lebanon. Here we can see a crane because construction is moving.
Foldem has jumped in the chat. How you doing, buddy? This is dubbed over, so just so you know.
Moving forward, the barrier roughly follows the route of the blue line, the de facto border between Israel and Lebanon, patrolled by UN peacekeepers.
At the top of the hill flies the Israeli flag. It is one of the 5 bases that Israel has built on Lebanese territory visible. Over the wall are the Lebanese villages leveled to the ground, where the Tel Aviv army is creating a buffer zone, a desert built from the ruins so far. Over 66 villages. And yet, amidst that rubble, Bolia has
We got what is it, like a 8-10-inch drone analog? All right.
adopted a new tactic, borrowed from the war in Ukraine. Quadcopters, Chinese drones that cost 400 euros on the web, loaded with explosives, guided by a long fiber optic cable. Frequency jammers can't shoot them down. Radars have difficulty detecting them. I heard the explosion. I looked up towards the military base. I saw 2 more drones circling, and then they went into a nosedive. It was a day of war. The killer kites have claimed 10 victims in the last month and have even managed to hit military bases and aerodrome batteries. Here in the middle of the orchards, there are military vehicles covered with nets. It's the only defense at the moment against Hezbollah's drones. In the
Gulf of America, it is.
last few hours, the Israeli Ministry of Defense has distributed 160,000 meters of nets to its units, and another 190,000 will be distributed next week. Nikki Boots, fear is back.
They have distributed hunting rifles with pellets to the defense teams. Anything that flies scares us. The other day we shot down a bird, we thought it was a drone. Got. Unfortunately, there is no effective method to neutralize them.
Israel admits it was caught off guard. The country's powerful weapons industry is looking for countermeasures. Acoustic hum detectors, laser pointers, anti-aircraft drones.
Systems to neutralize the threat exist, but it will take weeks, if not months, before they can be used systematically on the northern front.
So wild how this technology is just improving, and man, what about getting technology just to find peace? That's the ultimate goal, right? I think everyone wants peace, man. Every single person wants peace. Except a few of these people that are just not satisfied with peace.
There. Forget what they could have been doing there. Maybe there's a rational reason they're there. Maybe they're there because they do some military work. I don't know Brian Harpo like that. Maybe he does. That could have been his answer. Yeah, I was there, but I had a contract that I was working on, and that's what brought me there. Nope. We got an influencer campaign with a lot of special forces guys suddenly in the mix. Very strange. Screaming, threats. We're going to take you down. We're going to platform Mitch's baby mamas. What's going on here, man? A simple yes or no would do. I don't know this man, Mitch. I don't need to die on any hill. Just tell me yes or no. Nobody wanted to do that. So we just got to work and said, who's leaving Fort Huachuca and heading for El Paso, Texas, in a time frame that would work with this alleged meeting on the morning of September 9th. And now we can reveal the name of one of those VIPs who was aboard the plane, apparently with 4 other people. His name is Bradley Hansel. He was nominated by Trump to be the Undersecretary of War for Intelligence and Security. He was confirmed by the Senate and sworn in on July 25th, 2025. Tell you what he does. Per our Department of War website, Mr. Hansel exercises authority, direction, and control on behalf of the Secretary of War, it's Pete Hegseth, over all intelligence and security organizations in the Department of War, including the 9 Department of War components that are members of the intelligence community. He also serves as the Director of Defense.
Lonzo World jumping in the chat saying apparently they want to go to war with Egypt and Turkey next. What? What for? What did they do?
Intelligence, and the principal advisor to the Director of National Intelligence on defense intelligence matters. Okay. So he reports directly to Pete Hegseth. He was selected by Trump. And frankly, an argument could be made that it makes sense that he would be at an intel base given his position. But he has a background that I just can't ignore. After serving in the military, first in the Navy and then the Army Special Forces Airborne Division, Brad Hansel immediately went to work for the Boston Consulting Group. Interesting. After some years, he was then picked to work under Trump's first administration as a member of the National Security Council, and he was to work as the special assistant to President Donald J. Trump for national security affairs. When Trump's first term concluded, he went back to the Boston Consulting Group as a principal of the firm for years. He then did a one-off year before being selected again by Trump, the new term, as the undersecretary, which we just told you about. Now, that's interesting to me. I'm like, just like Mitt Beebe, Mr. Hansel was formerly employed by the Boston Consulting Group. So I thought, man, what is this Boston Consulting Group? I mean, it just seems to be a pipeline to the White House.
Oi, jumping in the chat saying no war with Turkey will not work out very well. That is where the throne is. What do you mean? What do you mean? Do you have info that we don't have? Oi. Thank you for the chat.
Mitt Romney ran, was a senator. Like, what's going on here? Who are they consulting for? And of course, I asked myself, are there any ties to Israel? I'm just going to be frank. Are there any ties to Israel at the Boston Consulting Group? And funny enough, in the very month that Mr. Hansel was sworn in, the Boston Consulting Group had a massive scandal, which was uncovered due to the reporting over at the Financial Times. There were some whistleblowers at the Boston Consulting Group. So let's read about a recap of what happened there, what the Financial Times was able to uncover. It was a secret project known as Project Aurora. This website tells us, and I'm going to read this website directly. It says, launched in late 2024, Project Aurora was originally framed as a pro bono feasibility study for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a Geneva-registered NGO created with backing from the U.S. and Israeli security-linked interests. Over 7 months, the project evolved into a fully billed consulting contract reportedly worth $4 million. According to a series of leaked documents obtained by the Financial Times, the core of the work focused on estimating the financial cost of various scenarios for Gaza's post-conflict future. Two primary models emerged. One proposed a voluntary departure plan, $9,000 in cash per person, aimed at relocating around 500,000 Palestinians outside of the Gaza Strip. A second model lowered direct payments to $5,000, but added 4 years of subsidized housing and 1 year of food assistance. Neither model specified destination.
Where TX Deplorable Veteran says, remember that Obama Messiah artwork with the crown of thorns that was on Time magazine? I remember that.
Nation countries, but internal documents suggest that analysts expected relocation to lower cost regions, likely outside of Israel or occupied Palestinian territories. Total costs ranged from $2.5 to $5 billion, but the numbers obscured a deeper reality. They converted displacement.
You're not talking about that, right? No, you're not talking about that.
Into a solvable financial problem. The people of Gaza, already facing displacement, trauma, and siege, were treated as units in a logistical matrix. The Boston Consulting Group's approach was methodologically consistent with its standard consulting playbook. The firm employed scenario modeling and comparative cost analysis, tools typically used in corporate restructuring or infrastructure investment projects. In Project Aurora, these tools were repurposed to evaluate the relative financial impact of different population movement strategies. It tells us that by April 2025, BCG's senior leadership claimed that they had issued some internal guidance to halt the project because concerns began to mount internally about the nature of the client, that being Israel, the implications of the work, and the potential reputational damage. But the firm would then say that two senior partners continued the project in defiance of their directives, maintaining an unofficial team and billing through alternative structures. Project continued through May of 2025 when the Financial Times story broke. In July, BCG quickly dismissed the two partners and launched an external audit. The CEO of BCG, Christoph Schweizer, described the episode as reputationally very damaging. Following the Financial Times publications, numerous media outlets rushed to characterize Project Aurora as an engineered deportation plan. Okay. Now here's where it gets fun, you guys. You see, the Boston Consulting Group was also, as we just told you, instrumental.
Someone just asked about how much, what was it? Dirty Clean, I think, said how much was lost in Minnesota. And so I guess the clean answer is somewhere between hundreds of millions proven, charged, and up to about 9 billion alleged, estimated. But the 9 billion US dollars is disputed and not fully proven yet. So, yeah, can't really say Minnesota definitely lost 9 billion unless you say allegedly or estimated. But that's a lot. That's quite a bit.
In setting up that Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. That's ringing a bell for you.
Damage, saying Turkey sides with America. There's no way they would challenge our military. That's all projection. Same with India, sandwich Japan. We all connected by the economy. They are tied together. There you go.
The consulting firm helped to develop the logistics, the organizational structure, and they also set the pricing.
Juvenile Silva says U.S. Rail.
We're paying and equipping private security contractors to operate the food distribution hubs in Gaza. Okay, that's what that was all about. And this was, of course, backed and funded by Israel, but you might recall that it was then discovered these were effectively just killing fields. The videos are horrific. They are available online and you should watch them. You should understand what the IDF army does. Starving Palestinians effectively being led to the slaughter as the IDF fires upon them. That was the scandal. So what did Boston Consulting Group do? Well, they withdrew, of course, likely to save face. And following their exit, another Trump appointee was tapped to become the new chairman of the foundation in their stead. Guess who? Here's Johnny. Yes, Reverend Johnny Moore, one half of the Kairos Company duo with Andrew Colvett once upon a time. That's where Andrew Colvett's from. He's working for Johnny Moore at first for finding Charlie Kirk. It really is just such a beautiful story. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other. Check out this headline, Times of Israel. Gaza Humanitarian Foundation taps U.S. evangelical leader Johnny Moore as the new chairman. It tells us that he was appointed as the new executive chairman of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is the U.S. and Israel-backed organization providing aid to Gazans. Its previous CEO, Jake Wood, quit last week, and the Boston Consulting Group abandoned the project today. Thank you, Johnny, for stepping up to the plate to fill in the void left by the Boston Consulting Group, which still led to children and women and men in Palestine being slaughtered.
My goodness, my goodness. So Johnny Moore is not just a religious commentator. Allegedly, he's a faith world power broker. He operates where religion, Israel policy, Trump politics, and public relations all meet. Something that people often miss. The key question is not simply, is he good or bad? The better journalistic question is, when Johnny Moore speaks, who benefits from that framing? Civilians, governments, donors, Trump world, Israel, or the aid organization he represents?
Thank you, Johnny Moore. He would eventually abandon the project in November. There was no fixing it. It's almost like...
By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you will.
It was a planned genocide or something. Now, in case you need a visual, here is what it looks like right now, currently on the graphic. I can show you this graphic here. We have Brad Hansel, our Undersecretary of War, Defense and Intelligence. We have, of course, Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, who has time for PR blitzes leading up to Charlie's assassination. And we have his best friend, BFF AE. They wear necklaces, probably, like little matching necklaces. They all worked for the Boston Consulting Group. She came under fire. And these points just tell you about Project Aurora, about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It also tells you who engaged them. They were initially engaged by Orbis, which is a Washington area security contractor, to help with the feasibility study.
Dirty, clean. Great question. Saying, my question is, where are they getting top secret information? Seriously. Yeah. And are they gonna let me in on it?
For a new aid project. Orbis was prepping the study on behalf of the Taclith Institute, which is an Israeli think tank. And yeah, BCG was chosen as that consultant because of their long-standing relationship with Phil Riley, an ex-CIA operative who worked for Orbis. Now, ex-CIA, kind of like, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors and innuendo about what Bibi Netanyahu was doing while he was living in America. Who's really running our CIA is a broader question. It certainly isn't Trump there.
No, she's dropping the heat. She's dropping the heat.
Bondi just dropped.
Speaking about dropping heat, Pam Bondi. This is
Thank
what
you
we
for your
wanted to
support.
see. Oh,
I love you. Wishing you.
By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. Keep this channel alive. I love you. The Lord loves you.
A bombshell about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and you need to see this video. Seriously, there's no good explanation for what you're about to see. Pam Bondi is famous for two things. Number one, popularizing the idea that you can win any argument by shouting, but the stock market's over 50,000 points. And number two, by once pointing to a bunch of binders as thick as Eric Trump's skull and saying those are the Epstein files and we're gonna release them. Then, whoopsie doodle, Donald Trump discovered that he's in the files more than Hairspray shows up in a book about 80s metal, and he said, no, we're not going to release him. It's not a big deal. It's a hoax. So then, Thomas Massie and Ro Connor wrote legislation that forced Pam Bondi to release all the files. And in the approximately 8 months since then, Thomas Massie has been primaried out of office by Donald Trump, Pam Bondi has been fired by Donald Trump, and only about half of the files have been released by Donald Trump. Totally cool, totally normal. This is exactly how an innocent person would act, right? I mean, this is innocent. It's innocent. Anyway, Congress had Pam Bondi in behind closed doors to ask some questions today, and one of the things that she revealed is gonna shock you. By the way, my name's Jay Black. I'm a comedian. I do 2 videos about news and politics every single day. If you like what you're seeing, please consider subscribing. Okay, I'm gonna show you
Jay Black, shout out.
a video of James Walkinshaw describing what Pam Bondi said during questioning. I would show you Pam Bondi's testimony, but for some reason the Trump administration blocked her from doing it in front of cameras. Which is so weird because they're so transparent usually and they're so innocent. This is what innocent people...
She was asked specifically about Donald Trump, President Trump's awareness of Epstein's crimes before they became public knowledge. She had the opportunity to say Donald Trump certainly wasn't aware of those crimes. She had the opportunity to say, I know Donald Trump, and if he was aware of those crimes, he would have done something. Instead,
I don't know if Bondi has an OF.
she said, I don't know. She also said, quote, this is a direct quote, I'm not certain of the extent of his knowledge.
Pam Bondi could have said no. That was one of the original cover stories, but she didn't. Pam Bondi could have said yes, he did know about it, and in fact turned Epstein in. That was another cover story that they had come up with. But all she could say about this guy and this guy is that she didn't know. Isn't that true of all of America? None of us really know what this relationship is like because Donald Trump has blocked every opportunity to really see what's going on. As it stands right now, the President of the United States has an undisclosed relationship with the world's most notorious child abuser. And MAGA, you're going to have to answer this. Why aren't the Republicans asking for answers in public so that we can know?
I think everyone wants to know. Every single person wants to know. Republican, Democrat, they just want to know the truth, regardless of what it is. Who cares? You know, Trump's not perfect. Biden is not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Give us the truth. That's what we're looking for. This is what not to
Find
do,
yourself
right?
censoring your jokes, or do you just go out? You know, man, I mean,
I had the Secret Service come to my house. Imagine, Can I say what it is?
Of course.
Of course.
I was with Cedric and his daughter at the chateau for her birthday, drinking some champagne. I leave, I get in the car, I turn my phone on. Instagram, it said, this was probably like maybe 4.5 years ago. Allegedly, Iran had offered an $80 million bounty on President Trump. And I put in there, we'll do it for half. And
not smart.
I wasn't even home yet. I wasn't even home. And my publicist called. Whenever my publicist calls,
yeah, it's
you're
serious.
just like, oh. I said, hello, where are you? I said, up in the car. But where were you? Where have you been? And I told her, man, and she said it's big, like it's big. And Fox had these people that he should be arrested, he should put in prison.
Yeah.
So
The
and then one day I had it on Fox occasionally, you see. And then one day I get up in the morning, I walk by it, I stop, it gets my attention, and said, George Lopez should expect a visit from the Secret Service early next week. And 5 minutes after that, my phone rang and it said, hey, George Lopez, you should expect a visit from the Secret Service early next. The same thing that was on the thing they told me. And they came over. So I had my attorney with me. And they come in the house.
Do they look the part? Like black sunglasses, black suits, like Men in Black? Like
I think maybe they're, the grub.
There you go. Joe Friday says George Lopez should be tried for treason. Absolutely, man. Definitely. You've got a huge platform. You can't just say ridiculous things like that because you want to get a spike in viewership or something.
There's some that, protect people. And then there's some that just go out and do the door to door.
Yeah.
Did you make them laugh? Did you make them laugh?
Well, I'll tell you what I said, and you tell me if they would laugh. So we sit down there. My attorney's there, and they said, we're here to see if you're a threat to the leader of the free world, and they start with other stuff. They said, do you remember retweeting a picture of El Chapo holding the severed head allegedly of the president?
Just to give you guys some, the treason is the crime of betraying one's country. In a legal context, it typically involves attempting to overthrow the government or providing material aid and comfort to an enemy during wartime. Treason is the only crime explicitly defined by the U.S. Constitution. It is strictly limited to two actions: levying war against the United States, adhering to the enemies of the United States, giving them aid and comfort. So Iran allegedly said they wanted to do something with POTUS, and he said, you know what? I'll do it for half. That's not a funny joke. Should never joke about doing stuff like that. Allegedly.
And the guy does this. And I said, because Mexicans, you just play como pendejo. You just play stupid in the beginning. Like, who?
And by the way, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want.
And they're like, El Chapo. I said, that's his name? El Chapo? I said, he's not one of the Fantastic Four. No, El Chapo. El Chapo Guzman. I said, I don't recall. That guy opens his briefcase, slides a
piece of paper.
The tweet with the picture. He says to me, do you think that's funny, Mr. Lopez? I look at it, I said, when I did it, I thought it was funny, but right now,
but right now,
I don't think it's funny. So he said, do you remember when Donald Trump called Mexicans criminal?
And also that could be true. Maybe he was drunk and just, being wild, but still he has to control himself when he has such a huge platform.
Was a rapist. Right? You said that when you saw him, you were going to rob him and him. I said, did I say that? Put the in front of me. I said, do you think that's funny? Right now, I don't think so. They said they remember saying that if they build a wall, they better build it in a day because if they leave the material out there overnight, it's going to be gone. I said that what I said. But then also I said, can I answer a question? And my lawyer goes, please don't. And I said, culturally, what you assume is a threat in our culture is more of an estimate. I mean, you can find somebody to do it cheaper, hire them. But that's just me. So they told me if they came back that I was looking at 10 years in federal prison.
Damn.
Wow. So I mean, I was married for 17. I said, I could probably do.
I could
probably do 7. I could probably do 7. I don't know if I could do 10.
There you go. There you go. Our sweet Mr. Lopez, right? My goodness, my goodness. All right, y'all. So before I end, I just want to say something kind of real. You know, the chat inspired me. You know, just be good. You know, not perfect, just good. Be honest when it's hard. Be kind when nobody claps. Help people when there is nothing in it for you. And forgive when you can. Remember, but forgive. Protect your space. Protect your peace. And do not let this world make your heart cold. And please remember this. The Lord loves you. Not the fake version of you. Not the perfect version of you. You, right now, in the middle of the struggle, the confusion, the rebuilding, the dream, the mistake, and the comeback. You are not forgotten, so keep on going. Follow your dreams, but don't lose your soul chasing them. Work hard, pray hard, love your family, tell the truth. And become the kind of person your younger self would feel safe around. A good life is not just about money, attention, or winning, right? A good life is peace in your heart, clean hands, strong faith, and love that you actually give away. So wherever you are, I hope you know this. You matter. The Lord loves you. Your story is not over. And tomorrow is still a chance to become better. All right, let's close this poll and see what we got. All right, can you guys see the results of the poll? Out of 381 votes, what is the biggest power fight happening right now? Trump versus Iran is number 1. Trump versus federal judges is number 2. Island man files pressures number 3. And Kennedy Center culture wars number 4. Oi Oi says Trump is the only president that did not own slaves in his family line. There you go. Damage says exactly. When you're in the public eye, you need to be conscious of what you're projecting onto your fan base and others. It's your responsibility as a man. Absolutely, absolutely. And if all those people are drinking haterade, let that hate roll off of your back like water rolls off of a duck's back. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, notifications, super chats, memberships, all those good things, gift memberships, do all those amazing things. All right, y'all, I love you, and we're gonna see you next time. Oh, and for the members, make some requests for the private live streams that we're gonna do. So if you got any ideas, drop it in the Discord or send me a message. All right, y'all. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.